My name is Anna Longole, and I'm the Executive Director of Ateker Cultural Center, and we're based in Uganda. Today I'm talking about the indigenous foods for resilience among the community, specifically the nomadic pastoralists in Uganda. About Ateker Cultural Center, we are an indigenous organization registered in Uganda and based in Karamoja, Uganda. The organization was founded in 2018 by pastoralist women who are committed and passionate about sharing and preserving the pastoralist cultural values among the communities in Uganda and across borders. Specifically, we focus on the thematic areas of cultural heritage, natural resource management, agropastoralism, governance and peace building, improving livelihoods, cross-border intervention, research and advocacy. A case of Karamoja context. Karamoja is characterized as a semi and arid land, but it's also a home of rangelands and pastoralism, because that is where it breeds most. And specifically, the livelihoods focus on livestock such as cattle, sheep, goats, and then of course they heavily depend on wild plants that come along with nature. And then the total area is about 27,000 kilometers with about 1.4 million people. With the Karamojong people speak Ngakarimojong, and the people are called Ngikarimojong. Concerning indigenous foods derived from livestock and wild plants, specifically looking at livestock as the main livelihood of the pastoralist or nomadic pastoralist. We look at the benefits of livestock scientifically, which is we have also documented here. But I'm going straight to the byproducts. Locally, how we use them, looking at ghee. Ghee is rich in fat. It contains a lot of nutrients according to research, and of course omega-3 products as well, and which has fats, acids, and supports on healthy heart and cardiovascular systems, something of the sort. Emuna, this is the special food that is driven out of the byproducts of specifically the dried meat. Emuna is a component of dried meat which is fried, processed by the local women, and then it is added, the byproducts are added in, such as groundnuts, local cucumber seeds, and then ghee is also put in there. This product is consumed for a long period of time, and specifically the value is highly valued in terms of it is kept for the elders and pastoralists who keep moving for long distances. So this food is processed, and that is what they often eat in the bushes or wherever they're taking livestock to graze and to look for water. Then butter. The utilization of butter, in our local language you call it akimiet, which is it's often collected after butter or yogurt procession, and this is usually used as a daily product at home, at the household. They used as a sauce, specifically for eating posho that is made out of sorghum and also maize at some point. Then we also have akuring. Akuring is another byproduct that is also processed meat, specifically processed by local or native chefs, and this meat also is kept. Only meat is kept. It also takes a duration of 1 to over 2 years. So this byproduct is processed specifically to help the pastoralists be able to have a meal wherever they are without having time to cook at all times. In cereal crops such as sorghum are also very important as an indigenous food for us, specifically sorghum. Sorghum flour is known to be rich and in so many other components, many of which act as antioxidants. It has also been shown to be good for reducing some forms of inflammation due to its antioxidant properties. From this, we're able to make a traditional cake, which is called hatap. Also sometimes called asporage. It's made out of sorghum flour. And then we have yogurt. And then we also have ghee and butter. And then we also mix with processed cucumber seeds in it. And then also sometimes honey. This special food is usually utilized in occasions or ceremonies. It's not a daily food that is eaten. It's specifically used by high-profile people in their community, and so that is why we have termed it as a traditional cake, because it's not a common food and it's specifically eaten during that time. So it has so many components which really help to build the immune system and to help pastoralists to be immune to diseases, and then also to improve the health of the community. And then also another important drink that is made processed out of sorghum is called kwete. That is kutukuto in the local language. In English, it's actually liquor or beer, and it's processed out of sorghum basically. So this is also accompanies the traditional ceremonies, specifically marriages, meetings, dialogues, all whatever. This is what is supposed to be utilized in the ceremonies. Looking at the wild plants are very critical in our communities, specifically in terms of food systems. Most of the trees are highly dependent upon by our communities as by food products for both livestock and then and human beings as well. According to some studies, specifically this is around by RFC. According to them, over 100 plant species in Karamoja specifically, species 47 family were reported as edible. But I also have a feeling this is underrated, because according to our communities, all the plants and the families actually have a lot of are edible, and its uses are enormous. I give a case of the Ballaneta aegyptica tree, which is called famously known as the desert death tree. In our communities, for example, we collect the leaves and boil them as vegetables, and it's consumed at home. And then also the same leaves are also eaten as fodder for the animals as well. The tree is also used for making the artifacts. Specifically, the wood is used for making the artifacts, which artifacts actually are used for as plates or storage kits for the products that are being processed, which pastoralists use when during that time of mobility to support the livestock. Then the fruit, which is also very special, is used as a delicacy, such as it's boiled with and mixed with sorghum and given to special visitors who come to visit the community, and also used during ceremonies. But also, what is interesting, the cover out of the seed is used as a necklace. And in this picture, I actually have put on the necklaces, and it's actually beautiful. Also, the medicinal products in this particular tree are enormous, which I cannot list them. And then also, it is also used as fuel as well for food support, the cooking for domestic use. And then also, the oil is extracted for purposely for beauty purposes. And if I must add, actually, according to the information I found on the internet, the desert that where the Egyptica name comes from, it comes from Egypt, where the pharaohs in the past specifically used this tree for special purposes, specifically making for the special oils, perfumes, and wine, and it was not accessed by the majority. So, luckily for us, we have this in plenty, and I think we can supply them to the pharaoh in future. Others, we have also mentioned other trees that have similar products here, and I think we can be able to access it in the currently, the challenges that surround the utilization of these indigenous foods, specifically the environmental practices, poor environmental practices such as charcoal burning and bush burning as well, poor farming practices, and mining. Then we have lack of consistent policies or no policies specifically on pastoralism and land use. Then we are faced with the challenge of lack of funding, specifically to protect arising issues in land use and pastoralism as well. Then the limited production diversification on value chain, specifically on wild plants, as I elaborated a lot, specifically on Balaneta aegyptica, Gamma arabic, Tamarintha. Then we also have others as well. And then, of course, we are looking at limited knowledge and skills on entrepreneurship. Lastly, under recommendations, we hope that adaptation on indigenous conservation practices are critical in this area, since our communities really have rich knowledge in conserving the environments and protecting for future use as well. Diversification on product use for export, specifically on the special wild plants that we have talked about, and then livestock production as well. And then we also recommend that this area is rich in ecotourism and biodiversity to enhance the livelihoods of our communities. Then research and documentation is key in this area to really help scale up or have archive for the missing information in our communities. Thank you. Alakara Noi, asante sana.